Hello, Sandy from Doux Designs. Super happy to see you guys. Tonight we are going to use all the things plus this Mad Hatter die. So I already prepared some of the pieces. I'm a little bit tired, so forgive me if I'm a little bit slow today. But we're going to do a bit of coloring. We're going to do a bit of crafting. We're going to do some images from the digital stamps. We have quite a bit going on tonight. I'm super excited about it though. I have a few colored images that I thought we would incorporate into what we're doing tonight, but we're also going to color one of the images. Hi Barbara, I missed you guys. I hope you guys have had a great time while I was gone. We're going to use this digital stamp set that, by the way, is still free to pick up in the shop. And you get all of these items, some colored and black and white. I'm going to use this one that I put hearts on. And I die cut it with one of these die cuts from this Mad Hatter shaped mini album or card die set. So when I went to the Mesa Expo, I picked this up because I knew we had this release coming out and this would be perfect. So I want to make a really cool card with this, and I didn't want to wait until the next release came out to do it, so I wanted to do it tonight with you guys. So we are going to use Alice from this one. We're going to use the Cheshire Cat and possibly this one as well. And then I may use Let Your Adventure Begin for the stamp set, and then we're just going to go from there. So we have already stamped everything. I'm going to use this die set from Scrappy Boy Stamps. I really love this die. Now, you can make this die an album as well, so you can do either one, but I'm going to explain how I made this into a card. Because the die is just one large piece. So this makes an album super easy because you can just punch the holes and link them together. But for a card, it's a little bit trickier. So I took the outside, there's 3 layers here. Okay, so you get 3 layers on the front of your hat. So I took this one. And I die cut, I folded an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in half. And then I placed this die on top of it, like this. But as you can see, there are a couple of areas where the die sits off the page. So a little bit up here, a little bit here, and a little bit here. This means that everywhere that the die sits, it's going to cut. Everywhere it doesn't, it's not. So that left me with a piece here that's still attached, a piece here, and a piece here. So it looks like this. When you open it up, it gives you a full card. Hey, Cheryl. So that's how you cut a die to make it into a card. So you could really do this with any shape that you have. Just set it off to the side a little bit so that you're not cutting all the edges, and that makes it into a card. So I cut that one, and then I had to decide on the colors for the other ones. So I chose a green, actually this is called peacock color, and it has a stitched edge around it. So I cut this one. This will be my stitch second layer. I cut the whole thing because this is just going to get placed on top of this one, okay, as a matting. it will hang off the edge of the card, and I'm okay with that. But if I want to cut it down, I can cut it down as well. I just don't think I want to cut it down just yet. I want to measure it and see if it'll fit in an envelope before I decide whether I'm going to trim that off or leave that alone. And then the inside one, this is the last one. I used our pattern paper with, it's this one on this side, with the pansies, but I used the back side because I thought it was really cool looking and it goes with Mad Hatter type idea. So I cut this one out and I placed that one on top, and it will also matte with the other two colors. So that was my initial design. And then there are all these little embellishments, but before I went with that, I took the white one, I took the stitched one, and I also cut a white piece. Now this one I did cut the edges off so that this one will fit inside my card base right here, just like this. So it'll close, because if I left those pieces on there, it wouldn't close. So I just trimmed those little pieces off so I could close it up, and I'll have white on the inside of this card. So this is how you build this, even though it was made primarily for an album. This is how you can make it into a card. So this is what we're going to make tonight. I also used this die right here. And what this is this is to build the hat pattern. Oh, let me show you on the back. So it's this piece right here, so that it looks like the inside of the hat. So I cut that piece in solid purple, so it will fit on top of this one. That way we have a little bit of a definition between the pieces of the hat, so that you can actually see the hat the way it is. And then I wanted to use all the pieces. So we're going to use every single one of these pieces. This one right here, this is the hat band. So I cut that one in a glittery color, because this is going to be a really fancy schmancy card. So glittery color here. So that makes the waist part of the hat. Okay, so it's going to go somewhat like that. And then this one right here, you're supposed to cut out, and it has an embossing on it, or a cut out that says 10 by 6. So that's what the Mad Hatter uses. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want it to be like this. So what I did was I used this from our digital paper, and I stuck it on there. And I cut the whole thing, and then I trimmed the top so the cards stay looking like they're sitting together. And then that piece will sit within the hat like here. So we'll have to color the red on there, but I think we're good for that. So that's that piece. And then there are a few more pieces. So we have, this one is a feather, and I used some of this really cool paper that I got at the Paper Ganza. It's really neat. It's really soft, and there's two sides, so you can choose whichever side you want. I think we're going to use this side, and we'll just place that somewhere on there. And then this one is a feather, so we have a second feather. Hey, Cheryl. And then the other dies are the keyholes. Hi, Timothy. So I have two of the keyholes. I cut both the keyholes. And then I cut the key. So here's the key in silver. So I used that in a metallic silver because I thought that would be fun. And then I have a couple of images that are already colored. So that's all the pieces in the die. So I have these already colored, so I definitely want to use them somewhere on the card. So we have those. And then I figured what would go with it would be Alice. So we're going to color her, and then we're going to assemble this whole card design using the Mad Hatter shaped mini album card die set. So it was super helpful. All I had to do was look at the back, and it gave me, I was able to imagine. Oh, there's my purple hair in there. You guys, I guess it fell out. I guess it fell out of my head. These bags, man, they have some serious, whatever you call it, static in them. Yeah, static. So I used this picture on the back to kind of give me an idea of how to put the pieces together, but there is a how-to video on YouTube channel, but you're not going to need that because I'm going to teach you right now how to. But if you want to make it into an album, you could definitely watch that how-to. So that's the die that we're using. I used our paper pad. Are we sold out of this? Or do we have
2 left?
We have 2 left. So I used this paper pad, and I used that colored paper right there. I have a few extra small pieces in here in case I want to use them for some fancy thing. But I used this one. So, and we only have 2 of these left. So if you want it, you should go grab it. Then we also used the free die set, the free digital set. So if you want this, you should go out and grab it as well because it's free. And then I used those 2 from this stamp set, and we're using this one from this stamp set. So lots and lots going on here tonight. And now let's get started. So how has everyone been? I am super excited to hear it. This is going to be my Alice, but I'm not going to color her in traditional Alice because I want it to match all of these colors. So I'm going to mix it up a little bit because, you know, I can. Hi, Beth. Welcome, welcome. So we'll start off with skin tone and we'll get that part out of the way. Why does it look kind of yellow in here? What's up with that? That might help a little bit. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to start with the skin tone. I think I'm going to mix that up just a little bit tonight. You know, because we always want to use just a little bit different than what we normally do, just so we can get some different ideas, different things. Maybe we should color her a little bit darker tonight. I think that might be kind of fun. Let's do that. So I'm grabbing my colors. Hold tight 1 second while I filter through these. And I have I had my marker stand out here. Wonder what happened to it. I'm telling you, my house is such a mess because I had to take everything to the wedding and leave before I was prepared. Okay, I don't know where my marker stand is, so we're going to roll with E00, E000, E11, 13, and 15. That'll make her just a little bit more tan skin than we normally see. So that is what we're going to roll with tonight. Gonna start with my E000, and I'll put the caps right here so you can see what number we're on. There are 4 people, but you guys are quiet. I hope that doesn't mean I don't see any comment. I'm not seeing the comments. I hope that's not the case. I hope you guys are just tired and quiet like me tonight. We did drive in this morning. We drove all night. We left yesterday at 3:30 p.m. and arrived home at 8 a.m. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a tough day, but I wanted to be able to sleep tonight, so I have to be up for a bit, so I thought it was perfect to come on here and color with you guys. So I'm just wetting the paper with the E000. You know we're going to have to pull a blush color, so I'll probably pull our 12 since I usually do 11, but I need to do 12 because her skin tone is going to be a bit darker, so we're going to need just a little bit darker color. So I'm doing her legs, and I did her arms and her neck, her ears, and her face in the base color. Great to see your pics you posted. Oh, yay, thank you. And not feeling well. I'll watch as long as I can. Oh, I'm sorry, Beth. Coles, I hope you feel better. I know that's not fun. Yeah, I'll have more pictures like of the actual wedding, but we were doing a FaceTime for Dale's mom. She wasn't able to make it to the wedding, so we did it FaceTime so she could be a part of the wedding, even though she wasn't able to come. So as soon as I get the photos from the photographer, I will be able to post more, and we'll do that then. But those are the ones I took, and you know how much I love to take pictures. So E15, I'm going to go ahead and put this dark shadow color on here underneath her hairline. I did not take my markers with me. This is one time I did not take them with me. They usually go everywhere with me, but they did not go on this trip. Yes, Cheryl, she was so devastated that she wasn't going to be able to make it. But she is currently at a rehab facility. She fell, so that's why she wasn't able to make it. But they did allow for her to, like, you know, be on her phone for the whole wedding, so it was really, really nice that we were able to do that. So it did prevent us from having any pictures of our own, but it was worth it. Thank you. Yeah, we noticed that I noticed when I was posting them that there weren't any of Dale in there. But honestly, I was running around so much and I didn't get a whole lot of them, but he has a whole bunch of the bachelor party, and he's in all of those. So on your phone, there is no live chat. That is weird. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it looks like people are signing in and out a whole lot too. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. But maybe try going out and then try completely closing out the page for Facebook, and then come back in, and maybe it'll come back for you, because that's super weird. Because there is some live chatting going on. So yeah, we had in light of an amazing wedding, amazingly beautiful wedding. We had some crazy fiascos that happened. You know, one being with started with Dale's mom not being able to go. This is E13, and then, you know, it just went downhill from there. There were so many things that went, but I don't know if you guys are following the news. Hi, Jana. Hey, Barbara, I think you were here once. It says you signed back in. But my son and my daughter-in-law, their honeymoon was supposed to be in Jamaica. So if you've been watching any of the news, you know that was not a good thing. So on the morning of the wedding, they got notified that their entire trip was canceled. Flight, hotel, everything. Which we get it, because it's, you know, it's super bad in Jamaica right now. But, yeah, that was pretty rough to find out on your wedding day in the morning that, like, yeah, it was crazy. It's all worked out, though. I mean, they are at a different destination. Sandals did really well. They rebooked them at a whole different location. The airline wasn't so easy, but they did manage to find a different airline that would take them over to their new place. Yeah, at least they're safe. Yeah, it was really sad. I mean, you know, it's never good when you show up for the very first appointment of the day and the bride is crying. So, yeah, it was a little bit of turmoil there, but they were able to get everything worked out. Her dad was super great. He helped on a lot of rebooking for them, and yeah, it was just really, really nice. Everybody worked together and got them off on their honeymoon. They are safe, yes. Better to be safe, yes. And Yeah, and when we got home, I told Dale I wanted to see how it looked. They did get to go away. We were checking out how it's going in Jamaica, and I'm so glad they weren't there. I mean, I'm so glad, so thankful that they're safe and they're not there. So, always take, you know, the blessings in disguise. So, there's that. And then while I was gone, a rock came up and cracked my windshield. So now I have to get a new windshield. So yeah, there were quite a few little crazinesses happening. But the wedding was amazing. Anna did an amazing job planning all of that. Their family was extremely welcoming to us, which was really, really nice. We enjoyed our time with them as well. Yeah, I'm praying for those people too, because it does not look good. E00 is the last color. So I put the R12 cheeks on there to kind of get those cheeks all pinked up. I wanted them to look super cute. I did realize that I am a little older now and that I don't go out to nightclubs all the time. So when Dale and I were dancing today, my legs hurt really bad. That's the funny part. I'm like, oh no, I'm out of shape. There we go. Oh, she's so cute. I think she needs a little bit more blush on the right-hand side because it looks like I got a little bit more on this side than this side. So I'm going to try to touch that up a little bit more. A little makeup brush out again to make up that little bit of area so she can look super pretty for her display. Oh, I love her skin tone. She's so pretty. We're going to do her, I know that we've colored her in the traditional at the beginning when she was first released. We colored her in traditional colors. We are not coloring her in traditional colors today. So it's going to be a little bit slightly different. So I hope you guys enjoy that. I know sometimes it's hard to see a character you imagine one way colored a different way, but we're going to do that. It will also give you the idea that you don't necessarily have to color her like Alice. You can color her any way you want. Little Cooper, he was so handsome. Oh my goodness, he was so cute. And you know, he was the ring bearer and he got to carry the rings up there. And Anna is my daughter-in-law. Anna got him sunglasses, which I think you saw in the picture, but on the side of them, it said ring security. Oh, he loved that. It made him feel so special getting to be the ring security. They opted to let him sit down, but he didn't want to, so he stood up with the groomsmen the whole time. And then when the minister asked for the rings, he got to take them up and give them to Kyle. And oh, it just made him feel so special. And I'm so thankful that she included him like that in the wedding. So it was really, really nice. And he was such a good boy. He even went for pedicures with us and got his toes done. So he was feeling real special during the entire event. Okay, so here's what I thought about her. Since we're going to do her a little bit different, I thought I would give her a little bit of purple-ish hair, purplish fuchsia hair to match the papers here, and kind of like my hair. So I think that's what we're going to do. And we will have some fun with doing that color tonight. So let me give you the color combination that we're going to use. And I'm going to play real quick on the paper. I know, right, Cheryl? How cute. And Barbara, oh my goodness. It was so adorable and he was so excited. This is V09. I'm going to see if this pink works in with these colors really well. I know these first few colors work great. V17. Perfect. Then we switch on over to V06, which kind of brings us into that purpley color I love. And then V15 kind of softens that down just a little bit, but still keeps it in that real bright color. But I wanted to see if I added a little bit of this R14, would it be too much? Yeah, the tone is not quite right. I think I might need a lighter one. Let's try R23 or 21 and see how those would look. So this is R23. It's not going to be 21 because that's going to be too light. So let's try RV13. And once I think 13 is going to be it. So let's try this one more time. We'll start with V06 just so we can see it. We know it blends with the other two, so we're good with that. And then if I pull in this 13, would we get, I'm going to put that 23 back because I don't need that. And then I would come in with this V15 and kind of go with that but over it to kind of keep that lighter pink color. And I think that might be perfect. So that is what we're going to use for her hair. It'll give her just a little bit more pink in there like mine is. So here comes some fun hair. So if you guys want to learn some different color hair and play around with it, here's a great combination to do that with. So this, in the order that we're going to use them, is V09, V17, V06, RV13, and then V15. I know that number is kind of worn off, but I've used it so much. So these are the colors that we're going to use for her hair. Putting a little bit more pink will match with our Cheshire Cat a lot, so I'm good with that. So here we go, starting with V09. This is where I'm going to put like all of the deep dark colors in there. So I'm going to follow the artist drawn lines at first, and then we'll stray just a little after that. Go. Just getting a little bit in there. And then this part right here is a little bit of her hair in the bow. And then right up close to her head, we want to get some of this real dark, because right underneath your ears and the back of your hair, it stays pretty dark back there. Even if I lift my hair up, you'll see that it's more dark purple underneath than the fuchsia-ish color that you can see on top. So I'm going to stick with staying with that type of an idea, since that's what I know from my own hair. She's going to be so cute with some purple hair. Of course, you know, there's not really very many images I can put purple on that I don't just absolutely love. So, you know, keep that in mind, because yeah, that's just how I am. I love that purple hair. I'm going to do a little bit around the bottom of these just because they're kind of flipped under and they wouldn't get a lot of light. So I'm going to do it on both sides. And then I'm going to grab a drink real quick because it was so dry in Arizona that I am so thirsty all the time. You had 20 inches cut off. Oh, wow. That's a lot. That's a big jump. Purple highlights, amazing. I love me some purple, that is for sure. I definitely get a lot of compliments on it. I get a lot of stories about how people have tried to pull off purple in their hair and it just doesn't match with their skin and they don't like it or whatever, but they love my purple color. But yeah, I go through a lot to get that purple color. It takes a really long time. Many, many hours at the beauty shop to get that purple tone color. And I'm pretty picky. I don't want it to be just purple. I want that lighter color in there. So, honey, are we going to do the release this weekend?
I think tomorrow we should assess everything that we need to do and see if it's possible to accomplish that.
So we're going to either do it this weekend or we're going to do it mid next week. We're not going to wait too long, but we have a new release coming. The stamps arrived today, so I do already have them and the paper. I'm very excited about it for you guys too. I think you're going to love it. I do. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit up here because we want to keep this part kind of dark because it's hidden in shadow. Oops. It is not traditional what you would think would come out right now, like Christmas or anything like that. But then again, you could color her in green and red and make her a Christmas girl too. So, you know, I try to leave the images fairly open so you can make them for whatever occasion that you want. So just because I haven't specifically made something for that, this next release can be used for holiday as well, but is not specifically designed for holiday, if that makes sense. I know that's a little confusing sounding, but trust me, I will show you when the release comes out different ways to use the new designs so that you can do them for holiday occasions or not, whichever you prefer. So it's going to be fun. And I like that it's not specified to one holiday, so you can use it for so many more things. That's always so important to me. I will use the stamp set more if I can use it for multiple things. You're excited to see what's coming? I think you're really going to like it, Timothy. It's super fun. It's really, really fun. RV13. Now this is that pink color. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to really blend with it. I'm just going to touch it in those white areas to give that like highlight effect. And then we'll blend it out with the last color. So I'm not really brushing this on or blending at all. I'm just putting this really bright pink within those little sections. And before I blend it out, I may come in with that darkest color and kind of enhance some of those dark spots so they don't get washed out too much. But I kind of like it like this. It's really cute, just like that. But I'm going to come in and put a few more deep shadow areas just so that it's really specific on that darkness. I want those shadow areas to really stand out. And you'll see when we start blending it out, if I hadn't put those in, they'll wash it out. So I'll do a video. I'll let you guys know on Thursday or before via a post exactly when the video will be for the new release, because we're also working around bringing Dale's mom home from the rehab facility. So we kind of have a lot of things shuffling in the way right now. So we're playing it by ear, but I will definitely let you know as soon as I can. We were going to hold it until the following week, but we changed our minds. We don't want to hold it that long. We're too excited and we really want to share it with you guys. So we're going to try to get it out sooner rather than later. The 15 is going to be that color where I'm going to kind of wash some of that pink out and make it a little bit darker. So I'm going to kind of go over the whole thing. So it's going to be these sweeping motions back and forth to kind of get that that more subtle purple tone over it. You see how it's starting to darken it up just a little bit? Kind of take that bright pink off. If you like it and you're coloring along, you can leave it the way it was without this last step. But for the image that we're doing this for, we kind of need that a little bit toned down and washed out. So we're adding that. But because I put those darker lines in, it really brought it all together. And I may put a little bit more of that V06 in here too, just to keep that shadow going. But look how pretty that is. It's so pretty. I really like it. So I'm going to go back to that V06 and add just a little bit more, probably in between these areas, so you can see the strands a little bit better in that color. Any spot that I needed to like enhance for that, I'm just adding a little bit more in there, kind of like that. And then a little bit over top these dark ones that I have in there, just so they kind of blend together well. Adding a few up here so the top matches the bottom. And there's no rhyme or reason. I'm not doing it in a specific pattern or anything. I'm just adding a little bit more in there because I felt like it needed that color. Okay, that's the last one I'm going to do, and holding it up close, you'll be able to really see. You can see the detail. The color is very deep, but it has, I mean, it really matches my hair color a lot, especially in the sun. So there we go with those colors. Now I'm going to bring over some of these colors that we're going to use on, just so we can make sure that we're like matching them up. So this is where I got the purpley pink from, because look how pretty it looks on that. And it matches the Cheshire Cat. But we have this green and we have this like peacock blue. So I'm going to try to pull those in. And I think even on the, like on the cards, we're going to have to color the cards too. Somehow I almost missed that. But I think for the cards, we're going to make them with the pink colors that we used in her hair. So we're going to stick with that pinkish tone. So for the peacock color, I think the peacock blue kind of falls into, and I'm just winging this, so we'll see. I wonder if I should use maybe 5 instead of 6. 13, and then maybe let's try this color combination for our blue, and we'll pick our blue and our like our blue and our green blue. We'll pick those colors before we start coloring, and we'll also use a little bit of white. So here's our swatch. This is BG 18, which I think is fairly close to that. So we have the basis of that color. And then I'm going to do 2 so we can see what it looks like with or without this blue added in. So this is B05. I wanted to see how it would look if we just added a bit of that blue in there. So I'm not going to put it in the bottom one. And then BG, maybe I'll do 15. Let's do BG 15 instead of 13. BG 15 goes over top of this one, blends very nicely with that blue, so we could totally use that. Or we could do it separately, or maybe we'll even use both. Not really sure yet. And then this one is BG 23, so I'm going to put that one. Good, it's perfect. It's lighter than that one. So we could do this, or we could do this. So tonight we're kind of mixing it up by adding different color families together. And I like that. So since I used B05 in this one, I'm going to stick with that color family to make sure that they coordinate well when I put them in here. So I'm going to go with, or I'm going to test and then go with, I'm going to try B18, B06, B04, and B02. So I'm going to try this 4 together and see how it goes. And luckily we can put it right next to these so we can see what we think. if they go pretty well together. That one is a little dark. That was my iffy, maybe not color. I wasn't sure. Because I really like that one. I kind of feel like that's a little bit too blue for what I wanted. So let's check it out here. This one. Yeah. I'm not really hip on that one, so I'm going to take B18 out. And let's try B16. It might be a little bit more. Yeah. But it looks almost exactly as B6 does. I don't think they're much different. Oh, B06 is darker. So we can stick 16 in there, but it has to be after 06. So we'll go B06, B16, B04, and B02. And then we'll mix it with these other colors that we have out here. And that is what I'm going to focus on for her outfit. I want to keep her dress, a little bit of her dress. No, I'm not going to. I was going to do it white, but I've decided I'm not. I'm going to stick with all blues. Let's see. We need, what else do we need? Eye color, we can do blue with the blue we already have. But for her shoes, do we want it? We'll just roll with it. I think we'll just do it all in these blue colors. So let's start with the blue. It's this one, this blue. And it matches with, let's see, where's that thing we just colored on? Jeez, I just disappeared it somewhere. How can you do that when you have it on your desk? Just kidding, here it is. So I think this blue right here matches with that really nicely. And we're going to have this color on there and this color. So you're not going to see a whole lot of the green underneath or the blue, except that the blue is the base of the card and the base of Alice in Wonderland. So we'll do the accents with this one and we'll do the base with this one. So I'm going to start with the lighter colors, which is the BG18. And that's, we're going to make the apron and we'll probably make the socks and we'll make the lines and all that good stuff with these colors. So this is BG18. And I'm just going to start on the little apron. So right here. Like this. Yeah, she's definitely going to be in a different color than she normally is. But I kind of like that. Make her your own. That is part of the deal. Make them your own when you make them. I think I'm going to go this outside like line here is what's going to be the darkest. And then we'll go lighter as we go inside the little apron. So I'm going to put a little bit around this corner. And I'm going to put a little bit around this corner. There we go. And then we're also going to do this like little line on her dress is going to be in this color too. So I'm just going to put a little bit where the seam is. On all of the little folds. Just so it looks like they dip in, which I really like. And then I'm going to leave this one to go with the color of the dress, but these ones that are on her sleeves, I want them to match this part at the bottom. So I'm going to put a little bit there. And I haven't decided on her bow, so we're just going to hold off on her bow right now. But since this is the accent, we're going to do her shoes in this color. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of that on her shoes. And we'll do her socks in the blue-ish color. So there we go. I think just for the soles, just make those this darkest color too. It won't really stand out that it's not black, but I think it's fine. All right. I do want to put a little bit of this blue in there, so I'm not going to use a whole lot, but I am going to use a little bit. And I'm only going to use it on the apron and the shoes. I'm not going to use it around the bottom of the dress. That way it's a little bit the tone changing depending on different parts of the dress. So I don't know how you guys use your stamps or like to use your stamps, but if you're like me and you like to use them for different things, then you'll love these stamps from Doux Designs because I really want them to be universal. It's kind of important to me. So even though this is somewhat like Alice in Wonderland, it doesn't have to be. I mean, you could almost make her Dorothy too if you wanted. Just color her in the right patterns. There we go. Now we're going to switch back to the BG color for BG 15. We only have one more color after this, so we're going to use this one a little bit heavier. So right here. And then I'm just going to pull this out towards the center of her dress. Just like this. And then I'm going to kind of do the same thing around the edges of this apron. On both sides. And then I'm going to start working on these, probably these sleeves up here. I'll just leave them in this color because they're a little bit more shadowed. But down here, I will just do a little bit on each side and we'll use the last color to finish that up. It'll stay the blue-green color, so it'll look a little slightly different than the apron. But I kind of like that. I like using the colors in a different way, the same colors in a different way, to get different looks on the same project. That way you don't have to have so many different markers when you're coloring. So starting pretty soon, I'm going to start using a lot of the Olo markers so you guys can see how that works out too. And yes, agree, they can be used for many things. She could be Holly Hobby. Oh, she could be Holly Hobby. I loved Holly Hobby when I was little. Where are these images from? These are Doux Designs images. Let me see. I think I could hold up the stamp set. So this particular one is, see, Doux Designs. It's a new shop if you've never been here before. We opened in June. There she is. We're just coloring her up a little bit different. And then there's the website, www.ledouxdesigns.com, and you will see them. So you got a rabbit, and this could be any kind of queen, or it could be a princess for your princess party, or she almost looks a little bit to me like the Mario princess, Princess Peach. You could do that as well. So whatever you see in it, that's what I want you to do with it. So BG 23 is our last color. I used to draw for, I know, Judy, you would remember me from when I used to work with Sweet Sentiment. So if you like them and they look familiar to you, that might be why. And you may even own some of the images I did before. That store isn't open anymore, so you can't get them there. I think it's been sold off to somebody, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. So that's a really pretty color. I like how that comes out. They are so cute. Thank you so much, Judy. I remember you for sure. Okay, gonna just do the tops of her shoes. I like this color. I like the color this came out. I may have to add this to one of my faves and use it a lot more. There we go, softening that up, just kind of blending these together. Just to get that, leave that light area right there around the bottom. But we're using this image just to show that you can use it for other things. You guys will be surprised at some of the ideas I come up with for using images that don't look like that. Also for the Mad Hatter, like I love the Mad Hatter, and I was going to do this tonight, but he's just a little bit too big for that hat for this project. But I was going to do it and show you how to take the teapots like out of his, and the teacup out of his hands so he could be something else. But I haven't gotten that yet because it didn't work for what I was doing tonight. But we can do that another time. Hi, Didiane, how are you? So now we're going to switch over to the bee colors. And oddly enough, this one is called Peacock Blue, which one of those papers was called Peacock as well. And now we're going to put the blues in, and then we're going to decide whether we need more blue for the bow or we need more of the blue-green for the bow. So we're going to wait and see which one works better for us. So I'm going to use this for the inside of her shirt and then along her collar. This is B06, and this video will be uploaded to YouTube. So if you have this stamp set and you want to do this coloring later, you will always be able to pull it up on YouTube, and I give you the color combinations in the description. I always do that so you can always find them. Facebook deletes the videos after 30 days, so you can always find it on our YouTube channel. So make sure that you check that out if you need to or you would like to. I'm going to start coming around this little apron area, and notice how I sort of extended that because that's going to be a fold in the dress. And I kind of want to accentuate that right here. And then I'm going to come down on this side and do the same thing. And then whenever I'm doing this, I like to put some down here along this base. Not real far out, but just enough to show that there's a fold there. It kind of helps with that shadow that we did on the lower thing. Just to kind of starts that fold design there. So this next release that's coming out, the one that's coming out very soon, I left some of the clothing plain so we could design whatever we wanted to put on the clothing ourselves. And I think that's going to be super fun. I'm also going to do her little socks. So I'm just going to do the edges right now. We'll come in with the lighter colors, but we're going to give her these blue socks. Next, we have B16. I know this is a jump up. The numbers aren't in order, and that's okay. They don't have to be. B16. Just going to extend out a teeny bit from where I put that color in these smaller areas. We'll do a little bit more on the bottom of the dress, but just in these small areas, I'm just going to use a little bit. And like right here, maybe a little bit along the bottom, and that's it. This one will extend out from around the apron, start building it into those folds that we're going to make here in just a minute. We never want to leave our lines in a square when we're doing outfits or skin or something that has to do with human form, because we're just not square. Well, I mean, some people think we're square, but we're not necessarily square. Hey, Mom. You're not driving, are you? Okay. So that gets us the base for the B16. Now we have 2 colors left, so we're going to really build a lot with B04. So right along here, we're going to do the kind of around the outside and sort of leave just a teeny bit for that last light color. I say around the outside a lot. You guys will understand what that means. If you're watching me, it means going around the outside lines of an image to make sure that I get that color in there pretty solid. So this part around the edges, but leaving a little space for that last color. And then I'm going to start building that little shape. So what it leaves is kind of like an oval right there for the highlight. It's sort of like when your dress folds, there's a shadow and a highlight. So I kind of am building that in. Same thing here. This one won't be really necessarily oval, but it will be a little bit round. Those are really small spaces, so you don't really have to do a whole lot with them. And we could put some blue-green in here, but then it would look too much like the other piece, and I want them to look different. So that's why I only used blue for these. Leaving just those very small. She's driving and Vicky is doing the commenting for her. Okay, thank you, Vicky. So she can hear me, but she's not watching. Okay, perfect. All right, so going along the top of the socks and the bottom, leaving a little bit of that white area. I'm thinking the bow is going to need to be in that apron color. But if you guys disagree, you can just comment now and I will accommodate the color that you want. BO2 is the last color, so I'm just going to get it in there and blend out those colors so they blend together nicely. Don't leave any lines. But if you color too much with the BO2, it has a lot of colorless blender. It'll wash out your colors, so you have to be a little bit careful with that. Otherwise, you'll have to go back in and put some dark colors. Now, I know a lot of people color light to dark, and some color dark to light. Okay, I need to know when you get home, Mom. Some people color light to dark, and some people color dark to light. And it doesn't matter. Do what works for you. But what I will tell you is when you color from light to dark, which is opposite of what I'm showing right here, you use more ink in your marker. I know that I color a lot and have to refill my markers a lot, so to me, I'd rather color dark to light. But if you're scared of that, which is the way I was when I first started coloring, I did color light to dark because I was afraid I would do something too dark and then I wouldn't be able to recover it. You can color either way. You're going to get beautiful results either way. But if you want to use less ink and not have to refill, then yes, you may have to switch to coloring dark to light. At first, you'll probably have to go back in a second time to darken things up until you get used to it and feel confident. But once you do, it will be great. You'll be glad that you switched for the saving of the ink. Okay, I'm going to blend these out just a little bit more just because there's like dark lines and I don't want there to be dark lines where the coloring is. So I'm just going to touch them up as needed. I'm going to go all the way along the bottom of this. I feel like I just maybe didn't put quite enough darkness around the bottom of that. So you can always go in and add more, which is what I'm doing right now. But you can do it with a darker color. It's just kind of up to you. I'm going to let them go, and if I change my mind and need to do more, I'll go back to them It's better to let them dry, then they don't bleed outside the lines by you oversaturating. So we're just going to let them dry and see if we need to do anything from there. I'm going to hold her up because the lighting in here sometimes shadows on there, but this is what she looks like. I really like her colors together. But I really think we have a lot more blue on there than I thought we were going to have. So I think I'm going to want to do the bow in the green color. So that's what we're going to do. I do think I need slightly a bit more of the medium blue color on her socks because I feel like they're just too light. There we go. So I added a little bit of B04 to her. Now we're going to go back to our blue-green colors. So this is the BG18. You love the colors with her? Me too. It looks like a little Miss Sandy Ledoux. Hi, Roberta. It does look a little bit because I did her in purple hair. I couldn't decide what color I wanted to use, so I just decided I was going to do her hair like mine. But I can see that resemblance now that you mention it. Oh, good, Barbara, you agree on the bow color. Yay! Yeah, sometimes I have to wait until the end, you know, to see what more of an accent color I need or whether I need the solid foundation color. And so I'll wait on that area. And maybe I'll even do the center part a little bit more of the blue. So it has a little bit of that blue highlight. Because you know we have this one blue color, B05, in the middle of our BG colors. So I could use that for my dark color on this center, and then I'll just put a little bit in here of that color, and I might even leave it out of the bottom area a lot, not just a teeny bit in there, and we'll just put it on that side, and there we go. And then BG15 is back to the BG colors. So now it'll start looking more like this. So we're gonna go over these colors, extend them out, and we're gonna do a little bit of that round the outside. This is the underside of the bow, so we're gonna finish that off with this color. I'm gonna put a little bit over that blue in the middle. And then we'll come in with the last color and finish that off. And I think that'll be perfect. I do like the green, the more blue-green color on the bow. I'm glad we chose that. Then we skip on over to BG23. I'm going to finish this little center piece right there. And then I'm going to go from the outside edge into the bow color. I am going to touch those bottom parts just so they have some of the BG23 on them. Now, if you want to accent more of those lines, you can always go back in, but I kind of like it like that. Now, we do have to do her eyes, but I will show you that up close. Super cute. I think we're going to stick with the blue color for the eyes. So I'm going to start with BG06. So I'm going to give her blue eyes. So if you ever looked at my eyes, sometimes they look really blue and sometimes they look really green. So I never really know if my eyes are blue or green, but they definitely have a little bit of both. Then I'm going to go to the B04. This one, B04. And I'm going to extend down just a little bit like that. And I like to keep them looking really like glassy-ish, if you will. And I like to add a little bit of green to them. So I think what I'm going to do is use this, maybe this BG23 to finish off the eyes. Regardless of what color, I always like to have a little bit of that green color in there because I feel like everybody has a little bit of green in their eyes, even when it's brown or hazel. And I think that just leaves them really shiny on the bottom. I'll show you. See? It gives that really pretty glow to the eyes. Maybe a teeny bit more of the B04 on the sides, just so they stay a little bit darker than that bottom part. So I'll show you one more time after you see. So you can see how it really stands out. See, there's a little bit of that color right at the bottom. There, much more smooth this way. There we go, perfect. And now we're gonna do the eyes with our multi-liner. So I have this one, which is that Le Pen I told y'all about, that's alcohol-based ink. Now they sell these pens that say Le Pen that are not alcohol-based, so make sure the one you get says alcohol-based. I actually ordered these from the company that makes them, this Marvi Yukita, or however you say that. I actually had to go to their site to find them. I wasn't able to find them anywhere else. I mean, I didn't look everywhere, so there might be somewhere else they sell them, but I couldn't find them. And I love them, so I bought a couple of extras for when I have a retreat. I can give some away, so you guys can win those. Because I thought that would be really cool since they're hard to get. I'm looking for a white gel pen, which I do often. Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. I'm going to give it just a second to dry, and then we're going to start working on all the card pieces, and I think you guys are going to love this card. This is my white gel pen, and I always touch it on my finger just to make sure it's going to work okay before I get started with it. And that's a habit because I've had so many that don't work very well. But it usually always works. So look at how sweet she looks. I'm going to add just a little bit up here to kind of have that little part of the bow look really cute. I'm going to do a little bit on her waist, and a little bit on her shoes. Just kind of gives you a little bit of that that white color on. This is a trick I use. If I go too far, I use my tweezers to kind of just wipe that white gel pen off. You can also use this eraser right here, and it will erase the white gel pen completely. So if you mess it up, you can always go back in and erase it. You could make dots and designs and everything with your white gel pen. So definitely need one. I'm trying to look into selling them in the shop. I'm not having a whole lot of luck, but I'm trying real hard so you guys can get them. I don't want to get them from anywhere else because this is my favorite one, and I don't want to sell you stuff that doesn't work really great. I'm going to add a little bit of white up here too. I feel like it needs it. And I don't want to sell you guys something that's not my favorite. So I'm trying to get this one in the shop. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm doing my best. There you go. That's her. And I'm going to zoom out now so we can work on this card. So, hey, Beth. Okay, I don't want that light in my way. Like you can almost see my shadow on my desk. And I'm going to brighten it up a little bit. Oh my goodness, we got to color this. I almost forgot. That's okay. We can do that real quick because that's not going to take very long. I'm going to grab the V06 and the RV13 that we used in her hair. I'll zoom back in real quick. And we're going to use that for our hearts. And then I'm also going to use C1 and the colorless blender. So we only need one of the gray colors. So I'm going to use C1. And all I want to do with C1 is show a shadow effect of the cards that are overlapped. So I'm just going to do them like that. and I'm only using one color, I'll blend out with the colorless blender. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to get a little bit of that gray in there. And I don't even need to put it on this one. Just in between the cards so it stands out. I know you can't see it very well on camera, but it will be great in real life. I'll hold it up in a minute. And I'm just softening that edge so it doesn't stand out too much with the colorless blender. So we're going to have to give it a second for that to dry before we color with pink over it. But if you kind of look at it like that, you can see the shadow if I move it. You can also see like the 10-6 from the die. But you can only see that if you start moving it around like that. It's not going to stand out. V06 and RV13. So I'm going to start with this heart because there's no colorless blender on this side. And I'm going to do like this edge of it with the shadow. And I don't really want a whole lot of it on this side. So in that case, I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This side is going to have most of the dark color, and then we'll work the light color from there. So let's do those two and make sure we don't have to add any more colors to it. I'm going to turn it upside down so we can blend it really well. Take this cap off too. I'm going to start on the edge, kind of go over that purple and extend out. And then I'm going to do this edge. I'm not going to put a whole lot of color on there because I want it to stay darker. But I am going to blend over here. And I think I'm going to use the tip to tip now for the softening of that edge. So always the lighter color onto the darker color when you're tip to tip. And then it'll help that transition, soften it up. There we go. That's going to be perfect. So it's just a little bit slightly darker on this side. If I hold it up, you're really going to see it. It's slightly darker on this side than this side, and that is what we want. So now I'm going to work on this one, but I think before I start, I'm going to do this tip to tip real quick, so I can get that color going before I extend into this color. The purple will wear off the tip of the pink, and then you will just be coloring with the pink. So I like it. It works really good. Now I'm going to do the rest of them with this V06. Just around this edge on every one of them. Now that the colorless blender is dried. And then we're almost done with these. These don't take very long. This is part of the digital image, and the digital image is free. So if you want that, you might want to go out to the shop and check that out so you don't miss out. I'll leave this open so we can blend from there. I pick up the purple. Never pick it up from here, always from the tip. If you pick it up from there, that's already dried and gross. It's going to clog up your nib, so don't do that. Some people will tell you to do it, but don't do it. You'll regret it. Okay, so I'm doing the tip to tip to blend out on each one of these colors so I get a smooth transition. If you're doing tip to tip a lot, it helps to move the marker, rotate the marker a little bit. Otherwise, it hasn't had time to reload on the nib, that color, so you'll get like a white spot on there. See how there's kind of a white spot on there? That's from picking up the color in the same spot. So I usually flip it over and pick it up from the other side as well. That way you get that full saturation of color when you need it. When you're finished, You just need to wipe your marker off on a white piece of paper and get all that purple off, and then you can use just the pink. So I'm just going from the edge into the color, and we'll get that pretty pink color. I'll wipe it off one more time, close it up, and we are finished. So normally you would do red, but I wanted it to be a little different, so I chose pink just so it matches up with our stuff. All right, now that we have all of these done, now we can assemble. So if you weren't here at the beginning and you missed the beginning of tonight's video, I'm going to take a quick moment to recap. So if you're watching the YouTube, you can skip up a little bit, but this is the Scrappy Boy Stamps Mad Hatter Hat Shape Mini Album Card. So it's got 3 layers here, and then all these accent pieces, and then this one is the one that builds this so it looks like a hat. I cut all the pieces. We're using all the pieces tonight, yet instead of it being flat like this, we have cut one piece like a card. So it literally opens with a fold here. So if you missed that in the beginning, you might want to go check out the YouTube video. I will recap real quick. I laid this on there with it off the edge here, so the edge of this wasn't touching the die cut on any of those 3 spots. Everywhere that it touched, like here and here, it cut. So as long as you set it off a little bit, you'll get a card. So I cut that one like that. All the other dies, I just put the whole die over top and cut it out because it's just the accent pieces on there. But you can do that with any die that you have. If you offset it just a little bit, you can cut it into a card. So that is what we used. This is perfect for this whole stamp set that we have, and I was so excited to see it. I do want to build an album sometime and do all the images with it. So there were 3 of those outlines, so I used the largest one for this. The medium one, it has a stitched edge on it, so I cut 2 for the stitched edge, 1 in white and 1 in green. One is for the outside and one is for the inside. Now when I lay the green one on top of here, you'll see that it hangs over. I'll flip it over so you can see. It hangs over the card. So if you don't want it to hang over the card, I'm going to leave it because I think it's fine. But for the inside of the card, you're going to have to cut it. So I just laid it over the card like this, all the way up to the edge. However I want that to be, like however much I want to be on each edge, you know. And then I just took the scissors and just cut it in a little bit so it'll sit inside here perfectly. You'll be able to see how the border, this way you can, someone who doesn't, if you give this to someone just to give to someone else, they don't have to have a colored pen to write on the blue. So see, it fits in there. It'll close up perfectly because you trimmed that. So that is how I did that part. This one, I'm going to leave that part hanging off because I just like it. I mean, you know, that's personal preference. And we're going to put that together. And then I used our pattern paper. I used this one that had the pansies on it. And I cut the backside with this cool looking, yeah, a cool way to make a card base. Yeah, you can do that with anything. So, you know, you should try it. It's a lot of fun. You can make small cards, big cards, whatever you want out of any die that you have. Okay, these are all the other pieces plus some colored images that I had colored for the packaging that I haven't used yet. So I wanted to kind of use them. So we have the little dormouse and a Cheshire cat. These are all the die pieces. There's the keyhole, the key. We have the feathers. And then we have this piece and this piece. So this is the piece that is supposed to make it look like a hat. Like the top part of the hat is flipped up so you can really see the shape, you know? So it kind of rolls together nicely. It also lines up really great with the hat belt or whatever you want to call that. So I made that in glittery green because I wanted it to really stand out. So let's go ahead and glue these together, and then we will decide how we want to accent everything else. This little piece is supposed to go in here. It lines up with there. So we'll be putting all of that on at the same time. We'll wait on this one so we can put tuck all the pieces in. So I'm going to set that aside. Let's build this part. So let's start with the inside piece. I'm just going to use my Barely Art glue because I love it and it holds really, really well. I am going to do really close to these edges so they stay glued down the way that I want them to. And then this glue gives you like a couple of seconds or so to like move around if you're trying to get it like, you know, with the same border all the way around. So it gives you a little bit of play, but once it sticks, that is it. You are finished sticking. I love to use this tool. Most of you have it. It's called the soda press, and you can use it on the top or the bottom of the card. If you're afraid it's going to move around, then just flip it over, rub it. What it does is it spreads that glue out and makes that adhesion that much better. So there we go. Now we have our inside of the card with the white. It also makes the card more sturdy with that white base in there. I'm going to go ahead and do this one to this one before I put it on there. So I'm just going to put glue around here. This glue works great even on this glossy paper, so you don't have to worry about that. Semi-glossy paper actually, but I love this paper and it's so fun. I designed it, can't get it anywhere else. This is the Doux Designs paper. So far it seems like everybody likes it, so I'm going to keep going with making more of it. We only have 2 left in the shop, so if you love this paper and you really want it and you're worried about missing out, you need to grab it as soon as you can because there's only 2 left. And I don't think we're going to reorder it, but if we get a lot of requests for it, we may be able to do a small reorder of it. But for now, it went super fast. So there we go. We're all lined up on that side. I'm going to flip it over because I don't want it to move. And I'm just going to press it with the soda press. You can use this soda press for a lot of stuff. You can use it on your MISTI for even pressure and everything. It's handy. Look, very small, fits in my hand. It's travel size. You can take it wherever you go. It's like a soda. I love soda. So, woohoo. Your favorite card so far? I know. You know, sometimes that happens to me. Like each time I make a card, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite card. And then the next time I make a card, I go, oh, this is my favorite card. I just can't decide. You just love everyone every time you make another one. Okay. So now we're going to put glue on this one, but remember, we're going to be careful not to put too much right along the edges because we're going to hang off the card. So I'm just going to start off by putting them only down as far as I want. And then along the edges of the other side. And then just a little bit all around, and then we're done. I'm going to turn the hat so I can have it lined up a little bit easier, whatever's the easiest way for you to line up your hat. It's not hard, it's just, it's hard to see dark colors on this dark glass mat. So if you're thinking about buying a glass mat, think about that because sometimes it's hard for me to do the really dark colors because I can't see where the edges are. So sometimes it helps to put like a piece of white paper down or something, but I'm sliding it so I can get it in the right spot. Super happy with that spot right there. flip it over. I'm going to use my soda press one more time. Well, maybe not one more time, but I'm going to use it this time. Now, I didn't get any glue on there, so we're pretty good. And I want to leave that hanging off, so I'm just going to leave it there. If I want to, I can cut it off later, but I like it, so I'm just going to leave it. This is this bottom part, and it should fit snug along the edges so you don't see anything around here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. I hear the ambulances. Do you guys hear the ambulances? We have a fire station really close to our house. I can hear it making a lot of noise right now. I hope everybody's okay. So I put one side down, then I'm going to line up this side, and that should help really just line up those edges so they're all matched up the way they should be, which worked out great. Another press of the soda press. Press pop, soda press, whatever you want to call it. I call it all kinds of stuff. Okay, there's the bottom of the hat. Next, we're going to have to go with the trim, but before we do that, and it's a lot easier once you have everything else on because it just slides right in there and fits perfectly. Like Sean makes some really great dies. I love this. So what I'm going to do first is kind of set it where I want it to be. And then I'm going to put this magnet on top of it. These magnets are really strong. I think the bigger one will be more strong. That way it'll hold it still while I work the pieces over here and I don't have to worry about it moving around. So this piece normally would fit right like snug up there, but I cut the top of it because I wanted the cards to look jagged. So I'm going to place it just a little bit lower. So I'm going to put this on the bottom. I'm not going to put anything on the top. I want to leave them kind of free roaming on there. So I'm going to lift this up with my fingernail. I'm going to place this edge along that edge. And then just kind of get it where I want it and set it down. Again, this is up, and I'm okay with that. It's just the bottom stuck. And then I need to put this feather in, which I kind of want to put here. So I'm kind of glad I didn't stick the whole thing down. And then the other feather I want to be like maybe right here next to it. So they're close together. So maybe I'll just stick them together for now and that'll make life easier. I want them to be together like that. So you can see them both, but they're a little bit different. And then I'm going to put glue just at the bottom of them. Again, I'm going to leave them free flowing just a little bit because I feel like they'll be fine like that on the card. And then I'm going to slide this under there where I want it. Press it down so it stays there as well. You can do that with your press pop if you want. There we go. So now if I lift this off, all we have to do is glue this on and everything is where it belongs. So I'm going to put that one on next. I'm going to take that. I'm going to glue along there. Now this Fairly Art glue works on almost every bit of different types of mediums that I use. I'll use it for albums. I'll use it for everything. It's acid free and safe for your photos and all that good stuff. However, it does not work very well on gluing on top of this glitter paper. So for what I'm going to put on top of this, I'm going to be using double-sided sticky tape, just so you know why I'm using each one. And now I haven't decided exactly how I'm decorating this other than putting the hat together exactly like you're supposed to. But just so you can see, it's very sturdy card. It's super adorable. I mean, even just like this, you could put whatever sentiment and be done. But we're going to do a little bit more than that. But since we're going to start popping stuff up, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the back of this with my stamp or sign it, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you mark your work so people know who did it. I was thinking that I wanted this girl to be on the front somewhere. I was thinking maybe like this area right here. And we could put a sentiment along the top or along here. I'm not really sure what I'm going to put there yet. So I'm going to leave her off for now. I wanted to use one keyhole on the front and one on the inside and the key on the inside. So I'm going to open this up. And I think decorating the inside will be easier. So I kind of wanted to put like the little Cheshire cat on there. And maybe have him protecting the key. You know, I think that would be cute. And then we'll put the little keyhole on the other side. Maybe the smaller one. We'll put the bigger one somewhere else. We'll put the smaller, we'll put the little keyhole up here. These are cute. They could be pawns. You can make, when you make a game, like the Sassy Club has some really cute, I think I like the bigger keyhole. The Sassy Club has some little game boards and stuff like from Monopoly and Candyland, and these would look really cute as little pawns. Just saying. Okay, so I'm going to glue this little keyhole on here, or this little pawn looking dude. And I'm going to put it right over here, and it doesn't have to be straight. You can do it however you want. I am doing this one crooked on purpose. And then I'm going to do this one. And this glue makes a really fine tip. So you can place it, the glue on there however you need to. I'm going to lift up his tail because I really want it to be under his tail like that. I'm going to place that down. I'm going to use my soda press to press that down again. Okay, and now that I have that key on there, I can put this little guy on there. And I don't want to pop because this is the inside of the card. And I don't want it to stick up. So I'm not going to pop on the inside, but I think I'm going to pop on the outside. So this is decorating the inside and the outside of your card, which I rarely do, but I thought it would be really fun with this hat-shaped card. I don't know why I don't decorate the inside. They're so adorable. But I'm going to go real far on this one. Now that I have those done, I think that's really cute on the inside, and I can't wait to put a sentiment in there. I don't know which sentiment I want to use, but I like this little teapot guy, and I'm going to actually put him on the back. I don't know why. I just really want him on there. And I think he'll be cute on the back. So I'm adding him to the back of my card. I know that's unusual, but I'm doing it anyway. I think it'll be cute. All right. Just pressing down. I'm not circling because I don't want it to move around. You know, I want it to stay in the spot I put it in. I really like it on the back. Oh, thank you. You like my creativity? And this is your favorite card so far, and you think it's super cool. You guys are awesome. I think I'm also going to put this little, I'm going to put this little keyhole somewhere. I just don't know where yet. I think I want to pop her up a little bit on here, and I'm also going to put some pop behind this. That's why I left that up. I wanted to leave it there on purpose like that so I could pop it up a little bit. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. I have some, these are my leftover pop-ups from when I was, when I cut those big sheets down. And we have to now use those little spare parts. Look at this one's perfect. When I lift this up, I think this is going to sit in there absolutely perfect and hold that up just a tad bit. So I'm going to go ahead and lay it on the front so I can see it. And then I'm going to cut it like about how far I want it to be. And then that way it'll be ready to go. And the easiest way to place these in there, if you've already attached part of it to the card is to just use some little tweezers. These are really cheap. You buy them on Amazon in a pack of 7. So get together with your friends. And then you can just lift it up and place it on there with your tweezers. And then you can also, once you have it on there, you can go with your tweezers and just lift that little paper and pull it up. And then that way you can place it down. Your cards will stand up a little bit and you'll get a little bit more dimensional on your card. See how it kind of pops it up for you? I like that. I'm also going to put her popped up a little bit, and I think I want her down here, and I'm okay with this hanging over the edge as well because we need the envelope to go out this far. So it will work out just fine that way. I am going to use these extra little pieces that I have to... Does the circle work? Oh, yeah, finally a use for that circle. I have these circles that I cut out for some reason, maybe a die cut or something, and it cut these circles. And I was like, when am I going to use those? But I wouldn't throw them away. So here we go. This circle will fit perfectly on the back of her. So we're going to use it. The other ones won't because there's not enough space, but at least we got one of them taken care of. Let's see if that will fit there. I like to use every bit of this. You can buy these on 8.5 by 11 sheets on Amazon. I just cut mine in half and then store them in my drawer so I can use them whenever I need them and keep the scraps to take care of that part as well. I think I'll use the smaller ones so I can have a little bit along the edge of her skirt so it doesn't dip down. I don't like when my images dip down, so I try to be really careful about that. This one is perfect for a leg because you know you need them real skinny for the legs. So it should go right down. It's perfect. Yep. There we go. Now we'll use this one to do the same thing. We need the other leg. So I'll use this shorter piece. I'm going to actually mark it with about where that one went up to, and then I'm just going to cut this one. See if how I did. Too fat. So I'm just going to cut it again. Perfect. Don't worry, I'll use that piece too. I don't let any of this stuff go to waste. It's not expensive, but I'm using it all. Just saying. You love my creativity. Thank you. I love that you guys join me and watch and enjoy. I will be live again on Thursday night. I don't know what we'll do, but I don't think it's going to be related to this stamp release. So I think I might... I've gotten some really amazing ones from Sassy Club, and I've just wanted to do a couple of Sassy Club ones so bad. So maybe we'll do something from Sassy Club or Scrappy Boy, or I don't know. We'll pick somebody. We got to share the love with our friends. So I will do something of someone else's. Maybe since we did this for Scrappy Boy, we'll do one for Sassy Club. We haven't done the Sesame Street yet, and we haven't done the Thing 1 and Thing 2. And we have Beth 1 and Beth 2 on here. Won't let nothing go to waste. That's right. Exactly. It's just not worth it. We spend enough on it. We don't want any of our stuff to go to waste. I also think I'm going to try to pop up that keyhole since I have some extra small pieces of this. I think if I just had a teeny tiny little sliver, I would be able to make that stand up. All right, I think I'm going to put her about right there. I'm going to make sure I don't have anything hanging over. Yep, nope, I didn't put any double-sided sticky there, so she'll work perfectly. It takes a second to peel these off, but I'd much rather do that than have her sink down on my card. You can use your tweezers to peel that off, or, oh, it went on this one. I was like, where'd that go? I felt it come off. There it goes. Or you can use your tweezers to lift up those. Whatever works best for you. There are a few tools I absolutely love that I use all the time, and that is this one and this one and the glue. Can't live without those. And bling, of course. You guys know I love my bling. Her colors look amazing on this card. We did good matching those up. So proud of us. I also have this little heart that I made. I was thinking if it worked, I could put it on there and put my little keyhole in there. It would work perfectly. I think I might use it. Why not? It's a little piece of wood. I'm pretty sure I'll be giving this card away to somebody in person rather than, you know, shipping it or whatever. So I can put this little wood piece on there. But in case you've never seen this, this is just a plain wood piece. Wait till I hold it up. I was thing 2 and my friend was thing 1 for trunk or treat. Yay! I love it when that happens. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put this little keyhole on top of this little heart, but before I'm going to show you, look at this little heart. It's all glittery. See the glitter? It's shimmery. I love it. But what I did was I just took a plain wooden, just like if it was like something like this, I just took like a plain piece of wood and I sprayed. Let me show you what I sprayed on there. Distress mica spray. I sprayed it on it and made it pink, and it made it all sparkly. See the sparkly? I love it. So if you want to do that, you can do that. You can also glue this with the Barely Art and it will stick. Or you can use double-sided sticky, whatever you want. If I was going to put it on here, I'd use double-sided sticky, but I'm not. I'm going to put it right down here. So it's on my card. I'm going to hold it a little bit longer because it is a piece of wood and I want it to stick. Sentiment is what we need to figure out. What am I going to put on this one? Anybody have any ideas of what kind of card what I should put on this? I love this card. I wonder if I should make it a get well card and give it to Phyllis since she's in the hospital right now. What do you think?
Yeah, you can.
Don't you think she would like that? I bet you I have a get well die we could do. Hold on one second. While that's drying, I'm going to go see if I can pull that get well die. I think there's one that says, I hope you're feeling better, or get well, or something like that. And I think she would love that. She likes gambling, and it has cards on there. Oh, I have hugs. If I can't find a get well, I'll put hugs on there. Hi there. Hey there. Oh, let's see. I have this whole thing of word dies. I think this one said, yep, this one says get well. We could use that. Look, it fits perfectly. This one says feel better, but it's a little bit too long, so the get well works the best. So let's use that. So we can take this and any of the scrap papers that I have, we can use those. So I have purple, or we could use black. Here's my little machine we can cut real quick. I almost think maybe this color would be good. It's kind of underneath. It's the accent color, so I think that might be good. Or we could use black. What do you think, Dale? This one?
What?
Black? Dale says black.
Just so it contrasts well against the...
I also have silver. Like I have these two. Black? Okay. So when I cut these, I just cut myself a piece of this black. This is black shimmer paper. Actually, it's going to be shiny. Kind of like the... It's like a... See how it's shiny? So we're just going to cut it out of this black. So I'm going to stick it on there. I'm going to take me a little piece of washi tape I have over here. I'm going to tape that down. So don't want it moving its little craziness around. Here's my little plates.
Mother says she likes the first one.
She liked the blue one. How about we cut it in both and then we can decide once we have it. It's always easier when you can see it. I think I had extra paper of that one, like a scrappy of that one that we could use. So we'll just cut it twice and maybe we'll even layer it. We could layer it with a shadow effect. I can show you how to do that. We can do it in both colors. We can decide which one looks better as we get there. Here we go. Just run this through. And it's pretty quick. It doesn't take too long to run it through. And then this is when I use my tweezers again, because I told you I use them all the time. I'm going to stick that on there because we'll use it to tape it down again. I use them over and over until they rip. They come right out of there. Perfect. Then I'll use my tweezers to help pop it out.
Black ties in with the keyhole.
It does tie in with the keyhole. That's a very good point. Good point. You're right. It does. And they're separate words, so they don't actually have to be right next to each other. So it can be like this. It does get a little bit lost on there. I think it'll look good if I double layer them. So let's cut this out. Just going to cut a little piece of this. I actually just pulled this out of the trash can because I was just going to throw it away. But why not, you know, use it? I'm going to put these back on there. We'll cut them both and we'll see. I like the blue. I like the black. I like them both. I don't know. We'll see. We'll decide. There we go. It does tie with the keyhole. That is a really good point. There we go. There's the get. I'm just poking out the little pieces. You know, the E and that one doesn't have one. So, not really sure. Oh, I have an idea. It just hit me. You guys know when I'm crafting, that's how it happens. Just randomly, all of a sudden it hit me. I have an idea. I have an idea. I don't really like either one of them at the top like that. I feel like they get lost. So what about here? I poke out the G. What about this? I kind of like it like that. What do you guys think? We could put bling up there. We're good. I bling everything.
On the get, put the green one behind it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, layering them up so it's a little bit thicker. So you could put them plain or you could offset them. This is what I was talking about by doubling them up. They're a lot easier if the glue's already on them. But if you set them off just a little bit, let me see. Let me get a hold of this real quick. Hang on. Be patient. Like that. You'll get a double effect. Do you see what I mean? See? You get the double effect. What do you think? Like that? Or do you think opposite? Like this. Then the black is the... See how the black is like... I like it better the other way. It's fun down there. It stands out more. I like it better this way. We're going to use them both because I cut them out, you know, and why not just use them? So what I'm going to do is I want it to be offset a little bit. So I'm going to avoid the glue on the offset side and just put it on the other side. So here That's a little thick. And along that edge right there, along this edge, and along this edge. And that should be enough to hold it together. Then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to place it there exactly where I want it. Just like offset a little bit, makes the word a little thicker and it'll hold. I use my soda press to push them together. And then I know they'll stick. Just like that, we have get, and we'll put that one up there. And then we'll do the same thing with well. Again, we know it's going to offset on the same side, so I'm going to put the glue on the opposite side, just so it holds it together. Same thing with the W, this side and this side. And then we just place them together like we did the other one. So I'll move it over so you can see what I'm doing. Just kind of over just a little. Perfect. Like this. I'm going to press it with my tool so it stays. There we go. It keeps sticking to my thing. But there we go. Now we have well. And well will fit right here. And it kind of, I really like it. It stands out a lot more now. And I'll hold it up in a minute so you can see it a little better. But in person, it really stands out. So I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to put glue kind of on both pieces, you know, just to make sure it really sticks. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a handmade card. It doesn't have to be perfect. I want that underneath her, though, to hold that down really tightly. And normally this doesn't work really good on the glitter paper, so we're going to have to hold it for just a sec, because I don't usually like using the Barely Art glue on glitter paper, but we're going to hope it works. And I'm going to do this one. We're going to let that set for a little bit and see how it goes. I don't want it falling off. That is for sure. This one will definitely stay on because it's getting attached to the paper and the glitter. So it will for sure stay there in place. I'm going to press that down. Be nice if I could spell. Oh, the bulk showing on top. Oh, you like the black on top. Oh, good. Love it on the green. Be nice if I could spell. Or funny. Okay. Let's see how well it stays. This is the test. Oh, we're good. And look at how pretty that looks. It kind of really stands out, especially on that glitter. I love it on the glitter. All right, that worked out great. Thank you guys for helping me out with that. 'Cause, you know, I couldn't decide on my own what I thought. All right, that worked out perfectly. Now we only have one more step left, and that is bling. So I have these cool things. Is this the night? This is the nebula we have in the shop, right, Nebula?
Yeah, blue is...
That's not really going to stand out, though, is it? We have the nebula. Hold on, I'm trying to see which one.
Open up the next one.
Huh?
Open up the next container.
Yeah, I'm thinking white would look okay, but it's not really... I don't think the purple will stand out on there because you won't be able to see it really.
Yeah.
But the blue might. I don't know. Let's see how the blue looks. I think I have some shiny bling that I might want to use down here. This one is really sparkly, but it's just plain. So it will really just be a sparkle and shine. I think that was a TV show. Oh, was it Shimmer and Shine? I knew it was something like that. So we'll put a few of these on there. You can't see them right now, but when I move them around, they're gonna really sparkle. And I kind of think I would like to have them sort of like this. So they're not a whole lot on there, just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and stick them. This is the way I commit right here. I decided that was the spot. I'm just going to commit so I can't change my mind and I don't sit here for a long time trying to decide. You just, I call it committing. Just commit to that and go for it. Don't worry, the Barely Art glue is hanging out the outside, but it doesn't matter because it will dry clear. I'm just going to put them on there and then I'm going to use that press pop again to press them down really good once they have a chance to get a little bit of a grip there. I also think if I have a few small ones, I might put a couple down here so I still have an odd number, but I have, let's see if there's some smaller ones. I can't really see in here. I turn the light away from me so you guys can see a little better, but then I can't see myself. So hold on, let me look under the light and see if I have smaller ones. Nope, it looks like they're all the same size. So that's okay. I just think it'll be really cute. We'll put a couple of them down here. We'll have 5 on the card, so they'll look really nice. I think that'll be perfect. The only other way we can do it is, we have to have an odd number. So if we wanted one over here, we could do 3 here. Then we would have 7. Gotta have an odd number. All the things in the world are in odd numbers. In nature are in odd numbers. Odd numbers for nature. And we could just put, that way it kind of stands out a little more on the trim and it's on the top and it's, yeah. Commit time. There's one. And I might want these a little closer together. Kind of like them up there. I think I'll do them like that. So commit time. 1, 2, 3. These, there we go. Okay, this is our bling tray. If you haven't seen it, it's awesome. You put this lid on top. I put 2 rubber bands around it. You can shake it up and they stay where they're supposed to. Love it. That's a magic trick. I love that magic trick. All right, using my soda press, I'm going to press these down just to make sure they get like a really good hold. And don't worry, that remaining glue around there will dry clear and invisible and you won't even be able to see it, so you don't have to worry about that. Pressing them down. I just feel like they get a better grip if I press them down, so this helps. And you could do it with your picker tool, but for me it's just easier to use this. And see, our little heart is stuck on there, so we are good. Now, let me show you how blingy this is. See the little blings? Look how much shimmery shine we have on there. This is our girl on our Mad Hatter hat. And then when you open it up, we also have the little Cheshire Cat with his little cheesy grin holding on to that key to get through the keyhole. And then on the back, we have the little sleepy dormouse. Isn't he just adorable? How fun was that? I'm telling you, this die is so amazing. On YouTube, I will put a link. It's not an affiliate link. It's just a link to this die in case you want it. And then you'll know where to get it. I like the letters like that. It's so cool. This is an amazing card, you guys. I love it. We left this hanging over the edge. You don't have to, but you can. I like it that way, so I'm happy. And then, so try that and let me know what you think. Try to do one of your dies not cutting to the edge and see if you can make a card out of it. And then feel free to share it in our group. It does not have to be one of our dies. This isn't even one of our dies. It doesn't have to be our products. You can post anything you make. We love you guys. We appreciate you watching. We appreciate you supporting. And you can post whatever you make. So don't worry about that. All welcome. I'm really glad you guys like it. It was super fun. We'll do some more. We'll do something else on Thursday, so be sure to join me on Thursday. And you guys have a great next couple of days. I am going to get as much sleep as possible because I am super tired. But there you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. It was really fun, and this hat turned out way better than I could have ever imagined. So have a great evening. And I will see you guys on Thursday at 8 Central. Love y'all. Have a great evening. Good night.